and welcome back to F1 22. It's the second episode then in our driver career mode. We chose to drive for Alpine. Thought we'd pick a midfield team. Turns out we're almost best of the rest. We're fighting Mercedes at the moment. So after round one, well, I say that, we were, but look what happened. Our MG UK failed on the second to last lap. Yeah, that happened. So if you haven't seen that, go back and check that out. It's well worth a watch. Looking at the upgrades then, we bought a couple of upgrades into Saudi. We've obviously earned some resource points since then. We're going to focus heavily on the chassis and the durability. We've got to iron out that durability if we're to finish races. I mean, look what happened in the first race. So mostly just looking for weight saving, really. Of course, if we can shed some weight, that make us quicker by default. So we're just having a look and see what we can do. We've got a few that we might be able to bring in time for Imola. But let's head to the track for what will be our first Pirelli hot lap. And we've decided to do the average speed. And of course, it's raining. So average speed zone is what we're going to go for. 93 mile an hour is what we want to aim for gold. So let's see what we can do. This is our first attempt. Disqualified. Nice. Anyway, second attempt. Went a little smoother, I would say. You have to brake so much earlier in these cars than you do in the F1 cars. It's night and day different. A little bit of a slide there out of the chicane. The AMG sounds great, I have to say. Especially on the downshift. Can we get our 93 mile an hour? Let's find out. Not quite. Good enough for silver, that run. We did go again, though, and we did get our gold. And this is a couple of highlights from that. Tail out again on the exit of the chicane. And around the final corner. And across the finish. That was fun. Nice little change of pace. But let's head to the track and see what's happening in free practice 1. Here we are then on the track. Of course, a brand new layout for Australia. And the curb strike again.
Are you alright? Engine off, engine off.
Let's have another look at what happened. You'll see we just caught the end of the curb. So we went wide, and then we just caught the end of the curb, and it just sent us into the wall, which is really unfortunate. So we did get some laps in beforehand, and then we went back out in practice 3 and managed to get, decent pace. So we're feeling all right, but let's head down to the track for what will be qualifying. So we pop our helmet on. Just having a little play with the setup before we go out. We've decided to run the car a bit lower, actually, which may seem counterintuitive given that we keep catching the curbs. But of course, with these ground effect cars, the lower you can run them, the better. They perform better. So we've decided to roll the dice, run it a bit lower. And here we go then for our across the line almost for our first lap. And it's good enough for P7 in Q1. We decide, though, we can do better than that. And we head back out onto the track. You can see already 2 tenths up as we head through the middle sector. We did go purple in the first sector. 4 tenths up now as we head into the final sector of the lap. That new profile corner there is much better. Feels much more intuitive. 5, nearly 6 tenths up there as we head around the final corner onto the straight. We're going to improve by a decent chunk. Good enough for P6. Getting a bit of deja vu here. P6 then is our qualifying position in the first round of qualifying. But can we carry that through into the next 2 rounds? Let's find out. Esteban Ocon getting himself into Q2 as well. And, well, feeling good about this track, but here's what happened for our first lap in Q2. We got incredibly lucky that we did not hit a wall there. Anyway, we went back to the garage. We sorted out ourselves a set of new tyres. And the second time round, we did not spin it on the curb. Currently, we're sat dead last in Q2, so hopefully we can get ourselves into Q3. Up to the line we come. Just by the skin of our teeth. 10th position gets us into the Q3 shootout. I think that was incredibly lucky, given that we only got one lap in. Esteban Ocon then in P9 and ourselves in P10, so we're both through again into Q3. So the car's got pace, we just need to make sure we can get it to the end of a Grand Prix. Here we are then in Q3, going purple through the first sector. Of course, we're one of the first out on track, so it's to be expected as we round the final corner on the run up to the line. What's this going to be? P2 provisionally. I don't think it's going to stay that way though. So we decided we wanted to go again, but I think we might have just left it a bit too late. Look at the timer in the top right corner. Yeah, we didn't make it. That's unfortunate. However, the first lap was good enough for 5th, so we'll take that. And here is the grid order for the Grand Prix. Carlos Sainz put it on pole. He's on fantastic form so far. Max Verstappen in 2nd, Lewis Hamilton in 3rd, and Charles Leclerc puts it on 4th. Just in front of ourselves, who are going to be alongside George Russell for the start of this race. So let's head to the grid.
It's race day here in Melbourne as we continue with what could shape up to be one of the best Australian Grand Prix ever. So here we are at Albert Park Circuit, 3.28 miles around, with the streets making for a bumpy surface with little undulation. There are 14 corners around the lake, with the best passing opportunities coming at turn 1 and turn 3. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. An immense lap from Carlos Sainz yesterday puts him in pole position, and Max Verstappen lines up alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Hamilton, Leclerc, Marshall and Russell, Perez, Ocon, Norris and Kevin Magnussen, Tsunoda, Mick Schumacher, Pierre Gasly and Ricciardo, Vettel, Albon, Guan Yu Zhou and Valtteri Bottas, Stroll and Nicolas Latifi. With preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track. Here we go then, the formation lap gets underway and the excitement here is building as we near ever closer to the start of the race. Which team will come out on top? Who's got their strategies right for today's race? Well, we'll soon find out.
We certainly shall as we head on to the grid for the Australian Grand Prix on the brand new layout. I really like this layout. I was not a fan of Australia before because it just had a weird flow. But with the changes they've made, it's a really fun track. So I'm expecting a decent race here today, so let's see what we can do as we patiently wait for the 5 red lights. The lights are on. The lights are out, and we're underway for the Australian Grand Prix. Strong start from Leclerc, strong start from Hamilton as well. Another sketchy start from us as Russell and Ocon are looking to make a move, but Perez goes round the outside. Look at that. He's not been qualifying very well, but of course he's in a Red Bull, so he's got a lot of pace. So if we can try and stick with him, we'll be doing good things in this race. But anyway, having a look at how the race start has gone for everybody else. Carlos Sainz on pole, and of course leading us away, has a 1.5 second gap to Lewis Hamilton already, who's jumped Max Verstappen at the start. So an interesting turn of events. Max and Lewis maybe battling again this season. Who knows? Charles Leclerc though down in 4th, probably not the start he would have wanted. As we head round towards the tail end of the first lap, we've managed to keep ourselves in P7. Of course we started the race in P6, but we haven't gone too far back, is probably what I'm getting at here, which is nice. As we come across the line to start the second lap. still hot on the tail of Sergio Perez then in that Red Bull, and it seems like everybody's sort of in the slipstream of each other. So if we can just hang on, we might have some really good opportunities later on. We head through the chicane, right on the back of Sergio Perez. A little bit too close for comfort there, I would say. Maybe we could get a go on him though. Into this tight right-hander, not quite. We just haven't got. We just weren't quite close enough there. So back out of it, as is the sensible thing to do. But we'll try again, I'm sure. As we round the corner, the final couple of corners. DRS will be enabled this lap. And Charles Leclerc is having a look on Max Verstappen into turn 1, but he hasn't quite got it done there as they go side by side through turn 2. Can he get it done? Looks like he might just do it though. It's still side by side. This is crazy. And you can see in the background, them being side by side, Charles Leclerc does come out on top, by the way. Them being side by side has brought everybody else back up into contention. So that's really good for us. Headed on to lap 6.
On Russell for you. They seem to have an issue.
George Russell's got some sort of issue. That means he's holding Perez up, which might just mean we can make a move here as we have unreal pace towards the back of that Red Bull. It seems like it's just sort of chilling behind George Russell. Are we going to go around the outside? It certainly looks like it. As we head towards the chicane, Checo also goes to make a move, and we go round the outside of Sergio Perez and make a little bit of contact there by the looks of it. Let's have a look at Checo's onboard. Oh yeah, that was an aggressive move, but we made it work. Brilliant. And we're going to try and do the same round the outside on George Russell. And we get that move done. I wonder what kind of issue he's got. Doesn't seem that slow.
Nice move. Keep going.
Beautiful. And crucially for us, Perez has not got through yet, which means we could be able to pull out a bit of a gap here as we almost lose the back end through the final corner. So much for pulling out of a gap. It invites George Russell back to try again and take his position back. Up the inside he goes. We just hold it round the outside. And we managed to keep hold of that position. There's a yellow flag there. I wonder what's happened there. Looks like Sergio Perez has had a moment. Let's see what happened. Into turn 1. He just clips the curb and back end round. And that's the end of his race. That's unfortunate. And the safety car's out.
Slow down. Your delta's negative, which means you're going too fast. Reduce your pace.
This could be a good opportunity for us to box for a set of hard tyres
Right,
and go to the end.
Our delta's too low and we're going to risk a penalty. Slow your pace immediately.
So that's one of the faster cars out of contention. This could be a very good opportunity for us, this. As we come into the pit lane. Good turn in. Hard tyres going on.
That was a good
little
turn
bit
in there,
slow
mate.
on the
That's
release.
decent pit stop time.
But it could have been worse. Anyway, on to lap 9 then, and the safety car is coming in this lap. We're all the way back in P13. However, a lot of people did not pit, so we could be in a really good position if we just play our cards right here. As we resume racing, chasing down Nicolas Latifi in that Williams.
Battery charge is high. Let's use that overtake button a bit more.
Being instructed that we should use a bit more ERS.
Okay, clear.
Having a look here then, a little bit further up the field at Carlos Sainz, who was the race leader before the safety car. So you can see everybody in front in the top 5 has chosen not to pit under that safety car. He's having a little battle with Kevin Magnussen in the Haas. I wonder if he can make his way through. Doesn't look like it just yet as they head into the middle sector. Alongside now as they head towards the chicane. He goes up the inside and around the outside. Job done. Carlos Sainz in the Ferrari is through. And we are behind Charles Leclerc, of all people. Who's, whoa, crikey, what happened there? Zhou Guanyu seems to just get it all crossed up there, and that's invited quite a few people to overtake. We'll be wanting to do our best to stick to the back of Charles Leclerc because he's got so much more speed, so if we can just hold on to him, he can drag us along, hopefully.
Okay, you're catching the car ahead, but remember, we need to get to the end of the race on these tyres.
He's done a little ding-dong with Valtteri Bottas, and that leaves a nice little space for us to slot through, and we do so. Up into P10 then. Valtteri Bottas is not finished with us though. He's like, I'm going to have that back. And we say, no, you're not, as we go round the outside to hold on to that position. Still staying well within DRS range of Charles Leclerc though, crucially, because once we get DRS, it means we can hold on to his gearbox, and that'll be ideal. As we head up through the middle sector, Charles Leclerc is a little bit held up here by Yuki Tsunoda, so as long as he can't get past, that's good news for us. We head towards the chicane. Very, very fun piece of track this. A little bit aggressive on the curb. Charles Leclerc going for a move round the outside of Yuki Tsunoda. And they've come together. They've come together, and that absolutely invites us through. It's 2 places in 1. Let's see what happened there. I want to have another look at that. I'm almost certain there was a waved yellow there, and we overtook. Look, top right there, you can see. He was waving a yellow flag. Look at that, yellow flag. And we overtook. But Valtteri Bottas here is out of the Grand Prix. Early stages then for these new cars, and of course reliability is a real concern. Valtteri Bottas in the Alfa Romeo, his race is over. You join us as we're hunting down another position. Pierre Gasly and Magnussen peel off into the pit lane, and they let us go free. And currently we're in 3rd position. That's technically a P2 because Norris hasn't pitted yet. That safety car has done wonders for us as Norris comes into the pit lane on lap 14. That releases us into P2, but of course Charles Leclerc in a way faster car. We're not even going to fight him. Goes up the inside into turn 1. We're still on the podium though, so we'll take that. Absolutely no point fighting the Ferrari. It's just way faster than us, so we'll just tuck in behind and hopefully try and keep up with him as we head deeper into the race. A little bit later on then, into lap 22. Unfortunately, we haven't kept pace with the Ferrari as you'd expect, but we are still in P3. Lewis Hamilton, though, has arrived on the scene. Max Verstappen also not too far behind him, so the Mercedes going to be wanting to make a move soon, I would imagine, as he just about pulls himself into DRS range as we head through turn 1. So here we are then. Lewis has made himself present. We go super defensive there, basically parking the car in the middle of the road, but seems to have worked. We've held him off for now, but as we head into the main straight, he's 2 tenths behind, and he's going to get a nice helping of DRS, so we're really going to have to give it everything we've got to keep him behind here. Whether we can do that, I think we might have just had the better run out the final corner, and that's all it took. Unfortunately, though, with the second helping of DRS, Lewis has shot one up the inside. We have just about held on to that position. For now, I think Lewis is in the quicker car here as Max Verstappen also joins the party. We've held him off for now, though, so we'll take that.
The car in front is 7.8 seconds.
Not really the gap I need to know about right now, mate, but thank you. Lewis Hamilton's right there. Look, I think he might do the same thing that he did last time as we head down into turn 4. Let's find out. Just a tenth. There he goes. Round the outside this time, though, by the looks of it. Round the outside. We just outbrake him there, and he just doesn't manage to get it done. So 3-4 laps to go. Can we do this? I don't know. It's going to be tough. Going super defensive again as we get towards the end of the lap, but we've just gone a bit too deep, and that invites Lewis through. That was a bit naughty. He basically turned in on us there. That's unfortunate, but it was to be expected. So down to P4 now. And Max Verstappen would quite like that position. I get the idea as he pulls out on the straight. I don't think he's quite close enough to make a move here, though. No, he isn't. However, he might well be soon as we get into the second half of DRS. Here comes the Red Bull. Look at the pace he has compared to us. He goes up the inside, but we've completely outbroke ourselves. And that's us out. Let's fight. That's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. I think we could have been having a really good battle there right to the end. Let's have a look at that from Max's point of view. He starts braking and past we go into the gravel pit. We're lucky we didn't get beached in there, to be honest. But, man, it is what it is. We started the race in P6. We finished in P5, so I'd say that's a good result. Especially, as I keep saying, best of the rest is what we're aiming for this season. And, well, we seem to be bringing the... well, we've actually brought the car home in this race. We could have brought it home in P5 last race, but there we go. Australia then. P5. Watch out for something strange here, though, because Esteban Ocon was right behind me in P6. And look what happens when we have a look at the standings. Just keep your eyes peeled.
We've witnessed some great battles on the streets of Melbourne today then, and they've taken a fantastic win. So, Natalie, what do you think helped them deliver this result?
Well, they certainly stood out as a driver with tons of confidence on the track. I think their ability to keep their cool, even during some of the more hectic parts of the race, meant they were able to capitalise on the mistakes of other drivers, giving them the opportunity to make their way to the top spot with ease.
Here come our winners now, a thrilling race and a tremendous effort by Ferrari. Their history is well known, so it's no surprise to fans the world over to see them come out on top once again.
A fantastic result for Ferrari then. A Carlos Sainz as well, getting his first win in Formula 1. Charles Leclerc in second. That was a good comeback from P4 on the grid for him. And Lewis Hamilton taking the final podium step. How about that? Good result for us as well. Good result for Alpine as a team. Almost. So we got ourselves a P5, a nice 10 points. We're going to have a look at the standings in a second and just look what happened to Esteban Ocon. I'm completely confused about this. So we're in P5. Ocon was in P6 right behind us. He crossed the line, but he's not there. He's gone. Explain that one. A really, really strange result for Esteban Ocon. We're going to have a quick look at the race director in a minute to see if we can figure out what happened, because from what I can see, he didn't have any penalties. I'm just going to scroll down here, look, and have a look. Esteban Ocon, DNF. He did finish, and he was in the points with no penalties. So let's have a look at what the race director was saying. Incident, nothing. Nothing whatsoever. So I'm absolutely baffled by that. If any of you can explain that, drop it in the comments below, because, yeah, that's a really, really odd one. And I can't explain it. Robbed of 8 points there was Ocon, which is unfortunate for him and the team. So, yeah, a strange start to this season so far with the engine failure that we had in, well, the MG UK failure that we had in Saudi. And, of course, Ocon now being robbed of his points in Australia. But a good result for us. And as we head into Imola, we're feeling good. We're feeling pretty strong. So join us next time for Imola. It'll be the first sprint race, of course. And, yeah, I have high hopes for that one. So stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next one.